It is time once more to gather up Gotchard. We're talking about episode 21. Last week, it was all about Spanner and Spanner's very unresolved trauma and just all of that kind of stuff. And now we get to look at how one can start healing. It involves transformations into giant superheroes. I'm kidding. But of course, we start the episode back up with Spanner in the Amalgam form, rampaging and trying to destroy the Angel Amalgam, as the Angel Amalgam just goes like, hey bitch, motherfucker, guess what? Here's your parents again! I'm gonna kill them again! Fuck you! And it's just like, Jesus Christ. What? It's hilarious of just how, like, oh yeah, we're just gonna kill them again and again and again. They recognize what's happening, and they're like, okay, we're being brought back from the dead. This is fucked. Our son's in emotional turmoil. Let's do some alchemy out of the recesses of our ass to save our son. And it's like, you're not supposed to do that. What the fuck is happening? It's the power of love, you dumbass. The power of love is letting these two people get a chance to save their son. Spanner, however, is just not in a good place. He is having deadly visions of his traumatic past and Greyon being a little dickhead with his fucking goth-ass boots. Sir, those are very goth boots. Some people will appreciate them. Spanner is helped out by the crew, and the crew is just going like, hey, dude, we care about you. And Spanner's like, no, fuck you. Leaves in turmoil as, at the same time, Spanner's goth girlfriend, Evil Lady, is going like, hey, yo, this is kind of fucking shit. And the leader of the sisters are going like, fuck you. No. Right? And the crew go to Spanner's older sister, adopted mother kind of character, and go, Kyoka, and say like, hey, will us helping you out save Spanner? And she's like, maybe. So let's fucking do it. So there's a fun montage of them all working together to try and build the new Valvrad driver. There's some more moments with Minato and the toxic goth girlfriend just like looking each other in the eye and go like, I know what you're on about, you know, and that kind of stuff. Spanner, of course, spanners it up and acts like a little dickhead, just going like, I am true edgelord boy, right? They're able to solve the driver. Angel guy shows up and steals it, and big ol' battle commences. Everybody gets on board, including the other two members of the crew. I can't remember their names right now. They escape me. Tablet, Toddler, and Cheapskate. Minato heads up and goes like, hey, what's up? And Kyoka's like, hey, are you about to kill me? And he's like, yeah. She's like, damn, it's kind of fucked up, isn't it? But like, we leave that scene. He's not gonna kill her because A, we have more information to get out of all that kind of stuff. But there is basically a back and forth between Minato and Spanner. Minato going like, hey, you a bitch. And Spanner going, nuh-uh. But it's a big moment of Spanner just like solidifying his resolve, all this kind of different things, and fighting against Kamen Rider Dread. And the thing that the parents did earlier in the episode happens to Spanner as he's basically taken back to that traumatic moment and is kind of seeing it as a vision, but he's separate from his kid self. As the parents basically look onto the son and go like, hey, you're made for great things, we're proud of you, all this different kinds of stuff. And then they look up at adult Spanner and go like, hey, we love you. Like, you're fine. It's okay. And he's like, my parents love me. And with the power of his parents' love, he is able to break some of the trauma he's had and take hold and control of the black flames within him. Ignite his fucking giant wrench. Beat the fuck out of Minato. Untransformed. He hasn't transformed yet. And he's just like, whack. I'm beating you. Which is great. Grabs the belt. Walks to the big battle. Does a badass henshin. And just decimates Angel solo. With some badass dodging and maneuvering. And some good swordplay. It's really good. We also get to see the Orochi team up with him, and he gets these fucking giant ass worms, and that, like, some great rider kicks this season. There's some good ass rider kicks. But the parents, their souls are able to see their son start the path to healing and becoming a strong man as they go like, hey, bye. Sorry for all of this. And and Spanner's just like, hey, just because I'm starting my healing process doesn't mean I am not an edge boy. And we get some more hints at what Minato's big plan is as Spanner goes and starts the chess game with Kyoka, basically going like, hey, in my opinion, the scene is very much, hey, you fucked up, but I forgive you because you were a desperate woman in a desperate situation. You were just trying to help me. We both agree it wasn't the right choice today, but at the time you were just trying to make the best choice you had. And it seems very much like a scene of forgiveness, you know. But yeah, this episode is all about Spanner starting the healing process of dealing with his trauma and everything. Because ultimately, he's starting to let others in. Like, he's starting to acknowledge the Kimmies as individuals. He's not just treating them as tools. They're like, he looks at Mad Wheel as it transforms into Mach Wheel and goes like, oh, are you on my side? You want to work with me? And Wheel's like, yeah, I want to work with you. And once he beats Minato, all the other Kimmies are like, yo, motherfucker, that shit, badass. We're on your side, bro. And then as he's starting to just be a badass, Orochi's like, yo, this motherfucker cooks. And just heads over to him, and Ichigo's like, what the fuck, dude? You know, it's like they're starting to recognize him, and he's not belittling them. He is treating them like individuals, right? He's like, are you willing to work with me? Oh, you want to work with me too? Like, he's acknowledging their individuality, which is something earlier on in the season he wouldn't have done. He's also taking a step back and seeing how others were trying to help him. Like, he acknowledges that Kyoka is like, in the flashback, you see that he sees Kyoka just desperately trying to help him, and he's like, yeah, she tried to help. It wasn't the right choice, but she tried. She was trying to help me, and I can't fault her for that. And like, seeing how the other characters have helped him and tried to help him, and it's like, it's a process. It also gave him a chance to grieve and process his parents' death, which he hadn't had a chance to do for years because A, memory wiping, but also B, the memory wipe is just a metaphor for avoiding it. Like, that's really what it is. But getting a chance to finally say goodbye to his parents, finally to hear them say that they're proud of him, that they love him in the day, and to have like them have a chance to like help him out. It's nice. It's good. It's very, very fulfilling. But again, he's still not 100% like on the team, fixed, I'm healthy mentally. Like, no, he's still a loner grump, and I think he's always going to be a little bit of a loner grump. Like, he's not just automatically buddy-buddy with everybody. he is like, no, I'm gonna deal with this shit on my own. But it feels very much like that. But if we gotta work together, we're gonna work together kind of thing. You know, so that's the kind of place where I think Spanner would be the best character-wise. But this was a great episode. Kamen Rider Valverad's debut was fantastic. It looks so good. It's just the right amount of edgelord nonsense, which perfect. Also, lot more hints that Minato is a double agent, and especially with the fact that the middle sister, Lachus, I think it was. Yeah, Clotho is the angry ab girl. Lachus is the toxic goth girlfriend. Atropos is the oldest one, youngest actress. But she's also like questioning everything, and she's thinking of turning. Like, oh, maybe in the end of all this, Spanner will get to keep his toxic goth girlfriend. But a lot of great choreography, especially with that fight scene with Spanner, of just dodging and blocking and avoiding all of the hits. Fantastic. Especially that one moment where Valverad's just deflecting all the things, and then he just starts walking away, just like, you're boring me. You're boring me. And it's just, it's great. It's the perfect level of cockiness for the character. It is fantastic. You know what's also fantastic? Like, commenting, subscribing on this video. Follow me on the variety of social medias. The links are always in the description. Join my Discord server. We hang out a bit there. Hey, if you want, you could also go support me as little as $1 a month on Patreon. You get an exclusive weekly video. Right now I'm reviewing Kamen Rider Agito, so if you want to see my thoughts on that show, you can go do that. Also, you get early access to big scripted video essays, one of which is going to be out soon! In fact, it should be, by the time this is out in 24 hours. It is a look at the symbolism in Review Starlight, a idol magical girl Yuri show. Give it a watch. Give the video a watch. I'd love to see your thoughts. And you know what is always your thoughts? The comments. First up, from just some random guy. Yeah, it's very interesting how Spanner was just like in a very desperate situation and just started asking for anybody for help. It's interesting to see how like Hotaro and Rine are just building up these empathetic pathways between all the different characters. Hotaro specifically. And just that build-up of these kind of things is something Spanner is acknowledging, but also like kind of pushing away in this episode, and I think that's interesting. Next up, from Fish Pop. The background was a little trippy. I've made some new ones. And by the way, if any of you think that it's a little too much, a little too just tell me. I'll try and fix them up some. I just wanted something new. Also, the old one took up 15 goddamn gigabytes. Now I have 6 different types, and they only take up 6 gigabytes. Jesus Christ. File management is a ball ache. And yeah, Minato, these past 2 episodes, this one and last one, is very, very much kind of, ooh, sneaky, so this is your plan, what's going on? He's definitely infiltrating them to get information and to figure out what they're doing. He is playing double agent. All the little things they're doing with Spanner is interesting. It's just really good things. It's interesting, you know? Next up, from Permanently Paper. I can understand thinking Hotaro is kind of like the most boring out of our 3 main writers, because Rine Majade has a very make my own rule. She also has the ring as an accent piece and all this kind of things. Valverad has the angst and the trauma and the bad boy attitude. Also, he's something I noticed. He took off the tie, which I think is like one part of him just rejecting the formality of the Alchemist Association and just letting himself be who he is, which is just a leather jacket. He is kind of a punk. He's a little bit of a scrapper dude. You know, I think symbolism, you know, that kind of thing. But Hotaro is very much a catalyst hero. Like, he doesn't grow and change, but like he helps others facilitate their growth and their change. He's a lot like Gentaro in Fourze in that regard. And also, there's a little bit of a parallel between this episode and Fourze, because Fourze regularly had those bits of, hey, we're dealing with an Astro Switch. Henshin in this little pocket area, and we'll observe and commit science. There's a little bit of that in this episode with Gotchard behind the glass, and I thought, oh, that's either just a regularly occurring idea or a neat bit of callback. I hope it's a bit of callback, because this season's been reminding me a lot of Fourze in very, very good ways. This is very much like, hey, another Fourze. You know? But yeah, no, Grayon being a doll, similar to the Abyssal Sisters, could explain a lot of like the extra powers he has. And I was like, oh, that's a neat idea. But then you also bring up of like, oh, but how did he open up the door without the Gotchard driver? Like, don't you need that? And I'm thinking here like, yo, you just stumbled upon like a really good A, motivation for the character, B, reason why he's such a dangerous threat, and C, great way for him to just continue to be a threat, and D, why he wanted the Gotchard driver so much. What if Grayon is a homunculi doll thing, but he was the prototype for the Gotchard driver? And that's how he can do so much of the things that he's doing, right? And that's why he wants the Gotchard driver now, to be able to, like, become full, become perfect, that kind of thing. Maybe there's something here that we don't have any reason to believe that. But it's like a fanfic theory? That works really good as a fanfic theory right now. You know what I mean? You know what I mean by fanfic theory, right? It's not necessarily like, oh, I'm taking all the lore and everything and concocting a theory. But it's, hey, we're taking bits of the lore, adding a little bit of headcanon and fanfiction, and now we're making a theory. What a lot of people do. A lot of people make fanfic theories. They don't make fan theories. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Papa Sheen? Next up from Slime Beast. Yeah, as you pointed out several times, Spanner is just not having a real good day. He's just having a bad day. But it is nice to see just how everyone's just like, hey, you may be rude, but you're still our guy. We're gonna help our boy out, which is nice. It's always nice to see characters who push people away, and the characters they try to push away go like, no, hold you closer. That's always a nice thing. And again, never apologize for long comments. Long comments are nice and delightful. And finally, from Esconde. If I had a nickel for every time the Kamen Rider fandom acted like a character in the show who is definitively showing negative perception of the characters, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but weird that it's happened twice. Because, like, Kekara was all about, like, yo, Kamen Riders must suffer to be good hero, and everyone was like, yeah, and it's like, no, he's the bad guy, you're supposed to disagree with him. And now we have Latches, the middle sister, the toxic goth girlfriend, going like, oh, where's the anger, where's my fucking mutt, where's my dog? And everyone's like, yeah, and I'm just like, no, that's a negative perception. Especially with, like, everyone making the jokes of Spanner being a fraud. It's just like, my guys, my dudes, he's not a fraud. He's going through a character arc. It's purposeful. What the fuck are you on about? It is the most bass-ackwards way. It is the most bass-ackwards power scalar focused way of engaging with a story, and I do not like it. It is pure baseball card, look at the stats, bro, of engaging with storytelling. Do not like it. If I have to say so myself. But if we're just talking about character stuff, yeah, Spanner did go through a lot of great stuff, especially with like looking deep into like why he's been doing things the way he's been doing with Kyoka and his morals and his values. And it's just interesting to see like how he's building up connections, like despite what he's been trying to do and trying to say and holding his heart close. Kyoka is just amazing. I love how clear it is that she was just trying to help this poor kid who's traumatized beyond belief, and it's just like there was no right solution. And I love how this episode also just goes like, hey, you fucked up, but you didn't fuck up. You know what I mean? And again, everything Spanner's built up is poor coping mechanisms for not being able to deal with his trauma. He steadfastly holds on to a moral and belief system that, while in and of itself is not wrong, being virtuous is good, all this kind of stuff, it's the steadfast belief in holding on to it that makes you inflexible and unable to actually deal with the world and situations around you. Hence the conflict with Hotaro, because Hotaro is a very fluid character. Kyoka is very much talks about that, but because Spanner's been so rigid of no, you have to rules, it causes conflict and makes it harder for him to connect to other people. There's also the fact that literally the dude built a suit of armor around himself to protect himself. You know, but hey, he's starting to recognize he needs other people. Hey, he's fully recognized and understands that he needs to work with his Kimmies. And that's like a huge step forward from just thinking that they were tools, you know? But it's definitely going to be a lot of everybody helping each other to become the heroes that they all can be. And I think that's really cool, and I think that's really neat. And I hope you thought this video was neat. I hope you thought this video was cool. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel to see this and many more content, such as video essays. Check it out. Coming soon. Tomorrow, I think it is. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. Woohoo. Big thank you to my Patreon supporters, Esconde and Scott Firestein.